Long ago, before the arrival of Islam in the province in Jambi, around the year 1286 Masehi, Datuk Temanggung, a native of Pagaruyung, West Sumatra, who was said to be a descendant of the Malay king Aditya Warman, set sail for Jambi province with his family via the Batanghari river, equipped with only the bare necessities. According to reports, their departure coincided with the removal of the Raja Kerinci throne from Pagaruyung in the Minangkabau region to Kerinci, while Datuk Temanggung traveled downstream along the Batanghari River. Datuk Temanggung set out on journey with his family and his loyal followers, including Princess Selaro Pinang Masa. They also brought along a rooster named Kinantan and a white duck, which was believed to serve as a guide during the journey. Datuk Temanggung set out on a journey to find a new region that was fertile, safe, and easily accessible. As he traveled down the Batanghari River, white duck served as a guide along the river. Meanwhile, a Kinantan rooster served as a guide in choosing a place to settle. If the rooster crowed in a certain spot, that place was considered suitable for a settlement. Datuk Temanggung then went down to the mainland and released the Kinantan rooster to see if the place was suitable for settlement. Specifically, in the village of Rambahan today, Datuk Temanggung then went down to the lowlands and released a Kinantan chicken to see if the place was suitable for settlement. Since he felt the place didn't quite meet his expectations, Datuk Temanggung finally decided to continue his journey. After continuing their journey, Datuk Temanggung and his entourage arrived in the Muara Batang Tebo area. For the third time, the white duck swam ashore at a certain spot. Datuk Temanggung followed the instructions and went down to the banks of the Ayam Kecil river, where the duck was later into the area with swirling currents. Upstream lay the Rena River, lined with flowering trees, while downstream lay the Gedang estuary and the Malako Intan plain, and finally Kinantan's rooster crowed 3 times. After consulting with his wife and children, he decided to settle in that place with his family and his followers. As time went by, the region became increasingly populous, its land fertile, and its population continued to grow. The art then developed into a state encompassing the realms of Tanjung Bunga Gedang and Intan Raya, which held Datuk Temanggung in high esteem because he led with wisdom. Datuk Temanggung had a beautiful daughter named Putri Selero Pinangmasa. The princess was known for her great beauty, politeness, and good character. Her name reflected her beauty and gentle nature. However, even though he loved his daughter dearly, Datuk Temanggung still hoped to have a son who could one day succeed him as a ruler of the kingdom. After living in their new home for several years, Datuk Temanggung's wife became pregnant with their second child when she was 3 months pregnant. She had a dream in which a young man appeared to her. She later told Datuk Temanggung about the dream. Out of curiosity, Datuk Temanggung summoned 7 fortune tellers to interpret the dream. After performing a ritual, the fortune tellers declared that the child to be born was a child of ill omen, who was believed to bring ruin to the kingdoms of Olak Renah, Tanjung Bungo, Olak Gedang, and Malako Intan. Upon hearing the prophecy, Datuk Temanggung and his people were filled with fear. However, when the baby boy was born, he appeared healthy and very cute, though it broke his heart. Datuk Temanggung ultimately ordered Bujang Selamat to abandon the baby for the sake of the kingdom's safety because he was so dearly loved. Fate had to be abandoned. The baby was named Sayang Tabuang. First, the baby was born in a buffalo fan, but 7 days later the baby was still alive and was even being nursed by the Bevel. Datuk Temanggung was surprised, but he was still afraid of the fortune teller's predictions. The Sayang Tabuang was abandoned once again in the Batanghari River area near the Bengkal River. Strangely enough, 7 days later, the baby was still alive. This time, she was cared for by the river's guardian spirits and wild animals. Datuk Temanggung grew increasingly anxious and tired to born and even killed the baby again. However, every attempt failed. The baby remained safe and unharmed. It was then that Datuk Temanggung began to realize that his child possessed great luck and supernatural powers. He regretted having believed the fortune teller's predictions. Finally, Sayang Tambuang was taken home and raised in the place. He grew up to be a handsome, honest young man who was highly skilled in silat. Eager to learn, Sayang Tambuang went to study under a powerful master named Datuk Sepanjang Janggut in the land of Joang Ampo. There, Sayang Tabuang managed to defeat his teacher's roster in a cookfight and was finally accepted as a student. After a year of training, he was given a magical bird named Lai Bangun Belayu that could speed up his journey. One day, Sayang Tambuang received word that her father, mother, and older sister Putri Salero Pinangmasa had been taken captive by the king of Paseman, who wished to marry the princess. This choice Sayang Tambuang managed to rescue her family. After successfully rescuing her father, mother, and older sister from King Pasema's captivity, Sayang Tambuang realized that King Pasema intended to force her older sister, Princess Salero Pinangmasa, into marriage. Therefore, Sayang Tambuang set out to find another man who would be a suitable husband for her sister. He then sought the help of a powerful prince named Kincir Kilo from Mount Sumpa in Palembang. In return, Sayang Tambuang helped Kincir Kilo fight against King Pasema. After the war was won, Prince Salero Pinangmasa finally married Kincir Kilo. From that marriage was born a son named Rajo Kecil Bayang Sakti, who later became the heir to the kingdom. Sayang Tambuang goes to go into seclusion on Siguntang Hill until she eventually vanished mysteriously and is believed to have become the guardian of that area.